There is a calamity that has penetrated the human heart and has spread into the hidden depths of the soul and psyche. This pestilence has disfigured the image of the human person, and in its multitudinous manifestations has created masks to personify itself on a living being. This is the most grotesque to realize when we allow an inordinate nebulous entity to take shape in our thought patterns. The faculty of our intellect is the most powerfully creative organ in the anatomy of a human being. Think about the beauty of our existence, both in physical and supernatural form. Ponder the components of body, soul, and spirit, and how these enterprises make a whole person who has the ability to express this in thought, word, and deed. What is most troubling is when we see the desecration of this beauty as it takes on alternate shapes of exaggeration and diminution. How can we even begin to identify the source when our society at large is indifferent to the preservation of its own identity in favor of the impostor of demons? This is the curse in our biological makeup since the fall, in choosing to attribute the power of God to ourselves, to think we have the prerogative to enact the rights of the Creator for the agenda of creating our own injustice to determine what is good and evil. The disintegration of knowledge in the absolute becomes the formless putty of our imagination that has roamed the earth in the voidless pursuit of sin. The deception of the demons try to convince us that the hallucinations which they display before us are real. In our choice to abandon what is good, forsaking grace for covetousness, in the pleasure of a moment, we die to supernatural life. Our flirtation with evil has conceived and borne corruption. We have placed an idol between ourselves and God, becoming blind to reality, and will remain so as long as the veil of distortion displaces the soul. When we allow our attachments to habitually demand our attention, they will start to grow as we indulge them, and they will eventually develop as a dominating force which can alter our whole lives. If granted such power, vices can become false selves. They cling, like an unrelenting malady which festers at the wounds of the heart. Misguided by the allure of its promise, the soul drinks deeply into the intoxicated torpor of immorality. In the Book of Wisdom, forgetfulness of God is identified as the sin that initiates humanity's descent into the cesspool, which is defiling of souls, changing of nature, disorder in marriage, and the irregularity of adultery and uncleanness. The idol worship of the self is the cause and beginning and end of all evil. The degree to which sin leads is the state of a brute beast, where thoughts of the heart in acquisition of good are stifled, and the voice of conscience is mute. We see a pandemic of sin which wages due to the reluctance to accept the truth of God. When we deny the existence of God, we deny reality, and in turn deny the image and likeness that we reflect from Him. If we have no source to draw life from, a light that shines and illumines the darkness, we will forever remain desolate in the black hole of our impurity. In our society, we see the support and advancement of idol worship, where the fabrications of false selves have become an ingrained pseudo-conscience of nicety and affirmation to those who carve the mold of a mutated norm. We live amongst a senseless and ignorant majority who are convinced that the public outrages of sin are of value because in them exists an element of proclivity in the multitude of men, carried away by the beauty of the work in these exhibits of lust. For this is the occasion of deceiving human life, for men serving either their affection or their leaders gave the incommunicable name to persons, places, and things, and it was not enough for them to err about the knowledge of God, but whereas they lived in a great war of ignorance, they call so many and so great evils peace.